So this week we will have the last days of chapter 4 of our textbook, talking about polynomials. So this is the last week we will work with chapter 4. On Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday we're gonna finish the topic. On Thursday we're gonna have a review, and on Friday is our test. All right? And just a quick reminder, because tomorrow we will not have meeting. We will have PSATs retake here at school. And even though we don't have meeting tomorrow, you are going to have an assignment. I will prepare a small video, an explanation, and a quick assignment for you. Okay? So to have attendance for tomorrow, you don't need to join the meeting. You just have to open and work on the assignment, on the given assignment, and open the video. I'm also gonna make a video explaining how to work out the questions of the assignment for tomorrow. Thursday, review of chapter 4. Remember, on the review, we will work on one quiz, all the questions of one quiz that is going to be very similar to the tests. So, check the grading policy. For the quizzes that you work every week, the best 2 grades are going to be 60% of your overall grade. The tests, they represent 30%. Is a heavy weight. Is a lot of things, right? 30% of the overall grade. And participation is everything else, like the other quizzes that you have a lower grade, and your answers here on the class, during the class, the participation that you ask questions, that you give feedback. This is 10% of your overall grade. That means it's very important for you to follow this class here from Thursday and work on your tests. That's going to be available on Friday. This is going to be very, very important for your grade. A few students last semester had a bad grade, even though they worked on all quizzes and they had very good grade on all quizzes because they forgot to work on the tests. You just have a couple of tests each quarter, and they are a heavy weight on your grade as well. Okay, let's move on then. Any questions about our schedule for this week? Again, tomorrow we don't have meeting, but yes, we have assignment. I will make available a video on a YouTube channel explaining a very quick assignment. I will prepare a short assignment, not a long one, not lots of questions, just a few questions. Last Friday we worked on the factoring perfect square trinomials. Remember this? That is the formula that we applied. One of the formulas. This is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If we find a polynomial that fits into this formula, you can factor it out as a plus b within parentheses is squared. Right? There's another formula that instead of positive we have here negative, instead of plus we have minus, and this is the other formula, the 2 formulas that we have seen last Friday. Okay, so an example here. Let's say we have this polynomial, x squared plus 8x plus 16. We have to check if we can plug this, we can make this polynomial fit into the formula. So we have to check if a equals x, and if b equals, since 16 is 4 squared, we have to check if b equals 4. Plug in x squared, yes, nice. 4 squared, yes. It's the same thing that we have here, right? Now check this term in the middle. You have to compare. If it is equals to 8x, then you can factor it out. And checking out 2 times x, okay, times 4 is 8x. And yes, they are the same. That means the answer is, if you factor it out, you can use the formula, and the answer is going to be x plus 4 within parentheses squared. Okay, this is a review from last Friday. Check now this quick question here. Factor out x squared minus 6x plus 9. Tell me what's the answer. Choose one answer. A, B, or C. What do you think is the right answer? I give you a few seconds to answer this one. It's going to be A, x minus 3 times x plus 3. Or B, x plus 3 within parentheses squared. Or C, x minus 3 within parentheses squared. What do you think is the right answer? Tell me now. And remember, we can represent this as perfect square. X squared is a perfect square. 9 is also a perfect square. It's 3 squared. And here in the middle, we're going to have negative 2 times what? X times 3. Yes? So I think we can factor out, but just tell me what is the right answer. 3 seconds. A, B, or C. Type here in the chat box. 3, 2, 1. Any answers? Anyone? I'm gonna try to answer this one. A, B, or C? Come on. I'm waiting for an answer. A, B, or C. What do you think? Any answer? You can guess. We didn't see this last Friday, so it's not this, it's not A. It's not A. It's going to be B or C. What do you think? Type your answers, B or C. Because I'm telling you, it's not going to be A, right? A, this one we will see today. A, we will see today. What do you think? B or C? Anyone on the other side? Yes, the answer is going to be letter C. X minus 3 within parentheses squared. Now, let's check the topic of today's class. Today we are talking about factoring binomials. We worked with, we learned how to factor polynomials with 4 terms. We learned how to factor trinomials, polynomials with 3 terms. And today we will see a few cases of factoring binomials, polynomials with 2 terms. The first case, the first situation is this formula here. Maybe you will remember this. A minus B, A squared minus B squared is equals A plus B times A minus B. Bring back from your memory a couple of weeks ago, we talked about multiplication of special case binomials. Remember this? And we have seen something very similar to this thing. It was like this, A plus B times A minus B. This is a multiplication, a special case multiplication that will result, you can apply FOIL, but we actually have a formula for it, right? A squared minus B squared. What we have here is the opposite, the reverse. Now we have A squared minus B squared, and we will factor out as A plus B times A minus B. See, it's the reverse. And let's try to apply on an example. We have an example we can apply. Maybe you will be able to understand much better working on the example. Check this out here. Factor the binomial completely. And the binomial is 16 x squared minus 9. We have to check if it can fit the formula that we just learned the formula here. A squared minus b squared. So a squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b, right? This is the formula. Well, to have this, to be able to fit and to use the formula, we need to have a perfect square here and another perfect square as the second term. Think about 16. Can I represent 16 as a perfect square? Yes, you can write 16 as 4 squared, right? So the first term, 16x squared, we can write as this, 4x squared. That means 4x is going to be a minus. And what about 9? Can I represent 9 as a perfect square? Can you think about a number that is squared is equals to 9? Yes, 3, right? 3 squared. 3 squared is going to be 9. That means 3 is b. A equals 4x, b equals 3. We can apply the formula. 4x plus 3 times 4x minus 3. That's the right answer. The answer that we're looking for. What do you think? I think you're going to be able to apply this formula on the questions of our quiz. What do you think? There's also the solution, the step-by-step from the book here. If you think this is better to understand, check it out. It's clean, it's neat. Maybe you can understand better by looking at the solution from the book and explain it the step-by-step here, right? One important thing, you can factor out if you find a squared minus b squared. Yes, you can. This is nice because you have the formula a plus b times a minus b. This is great. But we cannot factor out if you have a squared plus b squared. No. We cannot have, we don't have a formula to factor it out, so this cannot be done. A squared plus b squared is prime over the real numbers. Cannot be factored out. Right? Just to make sure that you don't make mistakes. If you find a squared plus b squared, it's a different thing. You cannot factor it out. Only a squared minus b squared. And there's finally one last thing, one last situation. When we're working on factoring by grouping, sometimes we're going to find as a result a binomial that we can factor using difference of squares. Check this out. Let's say we have this polynomial here, y3 minus 6y squared minus 4y plus 24, okay? Remember that we can factor it by grouping. We can split into two groups, and we have one group here, and we have another pair here, and find the greatest common factor of each one. For the first one, we can factor out y squared, y minus 6. On the second pair, I think we can factor out negative 4, y minus 6. And if we end up with the same binomial, we can also factor out this binomial here. Check this out. You can write y squared minus 4 times y minus 6. Well, you think you are done after you do this, but then you notice, look, this one here. This is y squared, is a perfect square, and this is 4, which is also a perfect square, it's 2 squares. You can write it. You can write this as y squared minus 2 squared. And if you can do this, you can factor it out as well, using the perfect square, the difference of squares that you just learned. You can make this equals to y plus 2 times y minus 2 times y minus 6. Okay? Those are equal. And you repeat this last one. This is the final answer. This is how I factor out the polynomial from the example completely. It's completely factored out. And okay, I agree. This is not as straightforward as the questions that we have worked before. When we work by factoring by grouping, sometimes it's not too easy. And now there's another thing you add, which is this difference of squares. So you're going to work on the questions of the quiz together if you need. And after practicing, maybe you'll be able to understand and to apply to other questions. Okay, we're going to practice this a bit further to be able to understand. If you have a specific question, type now. Send me your questions now, because after that we will work and practice this thing on our quiz. Any specific question, anything, or any comments, or feedback, or complain? You can complain it's too hard. If you think it's better to understand, then you check out here the solution from the book. It's neat, clean, nice to see, and maybe better to understand. And now I need you all to answer the bell work. Send me a message with an answer to this bell work here. If one cat can catch 3 mice in 3 minutes, how long will it take 10 cats to catch 30 mice? So, what do you think is the right answer? Send me your messages with your guesses, with your numbers. So, the answer here, you have to find the ratio. 1/3 is 1/3. 10/30, 1/3. The ratio is the same. That means if you release 10 cats, the 10 cats will catch 30 mice, and the same ratio as the first one in 3 minutes. The answer is 3 minutes. Okay, now let's move on to our quiz. The right answer here is 3 minutes. Sorry, I'm just recording. Okay, now this is the quiz. Use the difference of squares along with factoring when necessary by grouping. The questions A up to I, you just need to use difference of squares. And then questions J to O, you're going to need grouping first, and after that, difference of squares. Okay? So the last questions are a bit harder. Let's check the first one. And let's work on an easy one first. Letter A. We will apply or check if the formula fits here. A squared minus B squared equals A plus B times A minus B. right? This is the formula. We can say A equals X, so the first term is going to be a perfect square. Then we can say B equals 3. Then the second term is a perfect square, 3 squared. Substituting here, X squared minus 3 squared equals X plus 3 times X minus 3. And doesn't matter if you write X plus 3 times X minus 3 or X minus 3 times X plus 3. It's the same thing. This is the right answer. Okay? Now, give me 1 minute, and in 1 minute I will check attendance, and then I'm gonna get back and we can work together on all the questions of the quiz if you want.